My friends, there are some seats here in the front, just to the left. Please feel free to grab the seats that are available just here to the left. We've got a great crowd tonight. We want everybody to be comfortable. Yep. All right. What a great crowd. Please give yourselves a hand. Thank you so much for showing up tonight. Wow. Thank you so much and welcome. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to invite everybody to be here this evening. My name is Kirk Mitchell. I'm with the Office of Community Engagement for Baltimore County Executive, Mr. Johnny Olszewski, and we are happy to see everybody here tonight. Thanks so much for being here. You know, it's been said that government works well when the community is leading the conversation, and that's exactly why we're here tonight. Your participation here is exactly how we get the best out of Baltimore County together. So we're very excited for everybody to be here and to be able to engage with County Executive and Council Chair Jones. I want to invite up Bob Smith. Bob, if you come on up. You're Acting Director of Rec and Parks. Bob. For some reason it won't stay.
It won't stay on? Sure. Good evening, everyone. As mentioned, I'm Bob Smith. I'm the Acting Director for the Department of Recreation and Parks. On behalf of the department, we would like to thank the County Executive and Council Chair Jones for choosing Randallstown Community Center for tonight's meeting. We think this is one of the nicest facilities in all of Baltimore County, but we may be a little biased. We'd like to thank all of you tonight, all the residents of District 4 who've come out tonight for your attendance and for your input into tonight's meeting. So welcome to our facility. We hope to see you here again or at one of our other sites across the county. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob. So tonight we want to continue the fiscal 2024 budget discussion here in District 4, hosted by County Executive Johnny Olszewski Jr. and Council Chair Jones. After the County Executive's budget presentation, you will have an opportunity to share your budget-related priorities. Now, my friends, we have 2 minutes at the mics on either side of the rooms to be able to give your budget-related testimony for the evening. We also want to make sure that we let you know that we have to be out of the building at 9 p.m. I know that our name and logo is on the front. Yes, I know. But we've got to follow the rules as well, my friends. So we want to make sure that we stay within those parameters in terms of time when your testimony, and see if we can finish up sometime by tonight at 9 p.m. Yes, definitely. So I want to turn the mic over to Council Chair Jones to give a few words and introduce the County Executive.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My name is Julian Jones. I'm the councilman for this area and the chairman of the Baltimore County Council. And I would like to just take this opportunity to welcome each and every one of you for being here this evening. Let me get started by saying it is so humbling for me and so really exciting to see so many of you here today. Your being here today makes it very clear that democracy is alive and well here in Baltimore County. Your being here today tells us that each and every one of you care about your county and care about your community. And I'm just excited that you're here, and we look forward to hearing all of your issues, all of your concerns, and all of your ideas as they relate to education, recreation, infrastructure, you name it. We look forward to hearing from you. We get so excited that you are here. I would also like to just thank our Chief Administrative Officer, our very own Stacy Rogers, for being here this evening. Thank you, Stacy. and all of the other wonderful department heads that run Baltimore County each and every day. These are true professionals. That wake up every day trying to do the best for each and every one of you. And I'm very proud that they're here today and proud of the work that they do. And now, let me make sure, let me check my list. Don't want to forget anybody. Oh, I almost forgot something. I almost forgot one important thing here. When I walked in the door, I was handed an envelope, and I was told to find some way to give out these tickets. I have some tickets to the Lyric on April the 22nd, front row tickets. I have 4 tickets. So first of all, I'm going to ask a question. The first, only answer the question if you want the ticket. Okay? If you're not going to go, don't answer the question. The first one is, when was I elected to the Baltimore County Council? What year? Raise your hand. 2014, they're your tickets. Give her these tickets. Now, it's going to get tougher for the next one. For the next one, it's going to be tougher. Who can spell? Okay. That was going to be a dead giveaway. Okay. How much is the budget for Baltimore County government? You don't have to be exact. Give me an idea. $2 billion. No, not close enough. The guy in the back. $4 billion. Give him the tickets. That's close enough. Now, I got that out of the way. Listen, I am very, very humbled to be your representative on the county council. It's one of the greatest pleasures of my life to be there and represent you, and I'm very humbled and thankful that you have elected me. And I really appreciate it every day. I wake up every day working hard to do what's best for you and our community and our county. And now, without further ado, I want to introduce our county executive, Johnny Olszewski Jr. for being Johnny being here this evening is a testament to his style of open and transparent government. I remember, as the chairman of the county council, sitting in the county council, having budget hearings, and literally having 5 or 10 people show up and me begging them to tell us something. And I would say, tell me, what should we do with all this money? And they were like, we're just here to see what's going on. So the fact that he is here tonight and brought you out here today is a testament to his style of open and transparent government. He has been committed. Number one, he's been a fantastic county executive. He's been that's worth an applause. I've been here long enough to know that he has really taken on the tough issues head on. And he's done what is in the best interest of Baltimore County time and time again. And he has been a true friend and partner with me, a true friend of our community, and he has delivered. He has put his money where his mouth is, and he has repeatedly delivered for our community. And for that, I want you to give him another round of applause. And earlier today, I took a second to introduce Miss Stacy Rogers. But what I did not say, I mentioned Miss Stacy Rogers. Miss Stacy Rogers is the first African-American female ever to be the Chief Administrative Officer of Baltimore County. It does not stop there. When we go with Deandra Walker, once again, the first African-American female to ever head the Department of Public Works. Then we talked about our first female fire chief. We had our first female police chief. I can go on and on and on. The point I'm trying to make is County Executive Olszewski has the most diverse administration in the history of Baltimore County. And that's worth applause. So, without further ado, I can go on and on and on, but I know we have to be out here by 9 o'clock, so I don't want to go too long. But when I take concerns to him, he delivers for our community. And without further ado, our very own County Executive Johnny Olszewski Jr. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So I want to thank Councilman Jones for his partnership and for his leadership. When it's not an I deliver, it's a we deliver. When we talk about coming together to solve some of our challenges, it's because I have partners like Chairman Jones, who understands the need about making hard decisions, about making investments, and understands how important it is that we listen. So Julian, thank you for your partnership, and thank you for your leadership, and thank you for being here tonight as well. Just a note on the chairman's remarks. I mean, our diversity is our strength, and I have found in this job, I'm so proud of our leadership team, all of our leadership team, and we have made better decisions because we've had different perspectives, different voices, different lived experiences at the table, and that's our commitment the rest of this term. Before I begin, to just address the elephant in the room, someone was saying, you know, there were some remarks about Baltimore County and District 4, so there was a little bit of a tussle. If you're wondering what happened here, you should see the other person though, okay? And no, in all seriousness, I had a small growth, just sort of taken off and checked out and removed. I think everything is fine, but it's just a good reminder to take care of our health and to really sort of make sure that you are minding your and your family's care. I know that health has been an issue that in particular our new American community has raised in a lot of these town halls. And so I just want to remind folks that health is super important, and please make sure you are taking care of yours and minding your families as well. So just wanted to give folks a sense before there are any questions. So let's dive in so we can hear directly from you tonight. This is your town hall. You know, this is the 5th year of this series, and again, we are overwhelmed by the incredible turnout we have seen. It's a testament to the strength of our communities. These kinds of responses have been consistent across all 7 districts of Baltimore County, and the fact that you are here is a testament to your involvement, your voice, so thank you all for being a part of that. Because of that partnership that we've developed 4 years ago, we've driven incredible progress in Baltimore County, whether it's the first ever set of ethics reforms, including the Office of Community Engagement, and Kirk Mitchell, you do a great job here in District 4. Let's give it up for Kirk. We have the county's first ever 311 service, so whether it's a pothole or a down tree or a street lights out, you can call 311. We created the Office of the Inspector General, and we started this town hall series. Together, we've created BC Stat, which is our data-driven governance performance management system, where we use data and metrics to help inform our decision-making. We created the county's first ever budget platform. So not only are your voices heard now before the budget is introduced, we also hold ourselves accountable on the back end, where you can go down to the check and see exactly where our taxpayer resources are going. And of course, as I mentioned, this town hall series. Together, we closed an inherited $81 million structural deficit. Together, we had one of the best responses to one of the worst public health crises of our lives. And together, we are making record investments in our schools, in public safety, and in public infrastructure across Baltimore County. Again, this is a testament to the partnership we've developed working with all of you, working with Chairman Jones, and working with our partners on the council. So our winner of tickets was pretty close on our operating budget. Our operating budget really fuels and funds all the day-to-day operations, the people, the programs, the services is all part of the operating budget. So think about anything that's operating day in and day out. This is the $4.4 billion we spend in this current fiscal year delivering services to residents of Baltimore County. We pay for it through a variety of taxes and fees and other aid, and then we spend that money out. Over half of our budget, about 55%, goes towards education. Over $2 billion of that goes directly to BCPS, with the balance going to CCBC and our library system. The other large buckets of investment are public safety, $470 million, public works and transportation, and those health, recreation, and community services. In addition to that operating budget, that's that, again, people, programs, services, we have a capital budget, which is the bricks and mortar, or the sewer systems, as it were, or the sidewalks. That is funded primarily, that $3+ billion budget over several fiscal years is funded primarily by these Metro District bonds, and those are basically our water and sewer fees. In addition, you may have remembered back in November when we voted, we had these borrowing questions. Should we borrow for school construction? Should we borrow for general government buildings? Should we borrow for parks and greenways? That's where that comes from. And then we do get money from the state and federal government, some fees. And then basically it makes sense that half of the money that's coming in this capital budget is going back into the sewer and water. So the sewer and water fees are going to sewer and water. The borrowing ordinances are going primarily to school construction, but then also our buildings, our community colleges, our parks, and our public works, our streets, our sidewalks, et cetera. In addition to the borrowing that we do, when we have a surplus, we can do what's called pay-go, or pay-as-you-go capital, where we will invest additional local dollars on top of what's been borrowed, or what's on top of what's in that Metro fee, to fund additional community requests. On the operating side, Chairman Jones and his partners every year on the council develop what's called the spending affordability limit. So the spending affordability committee come together and say, based on where our county is, based on our expected growth, how much can we grow our budget in a given year? And that's effectively the target that Julian and the county council gives to me to say, this is what you have to live within in terms of any new investments. Once we have that number from the council, we give that to our amazing department leaders to say, here is a target budget for you, knowing, of course, that we're going to come to the community and have these town halls about other investments. In the current fiscal year, so that current $4.3 billion budget, it allows for a 4.7% growth. In this year's budget, that means $107 million of new spending in this fiscal year, the one that we're currently in. Now, $107 million seems like a lot of money, but let's break that down a little bit. Once you break that increase down of $107 million, almost half of that increase went to salary increases for our employees. Almost half of that increase, so almost $50 million goes towards salary increases. About 25% goes to insurance increases, OPEB, which is our trust fund that pays for retiree health care. So about $25 million go towards those built-in increases. We have other required increases of about 17%, things like the cost of fuel, the cost of electricity. All of that's just baked into the budget in terms of the increases. So of that $100 million, there was about 13% that was available for new spending, or that wasn't allocated. So within that, we listened and we worked together. We put together a second set of turnout gear in this year's budget for our high-performing volunteers. We expanded County Ride. We put in additional teachers, counselors, and support staff into the budget this year. We set up a green infrastructure division, and we set up a reforestry division within the Department of Environmental Protection and Sustainability, doing things like Operation Retree, which is urban canopies, which we'll talk about later tonight. We mentioned half of our budget goes towards public schools and BCPS. The current fiscal year budget for BCPS is $2.3 billion. It is a year-over-year increase of $91 million from the prior fiscal year. And our maintenance of effort based on enrollment, which is basically the metric that the state uses to say, this is the minimum amount that you have to fund the following year. We're $70 million above that minimum level of required effort. We are making progress in Baltimore County on things like our salaries for our employees and support staff. For teachers, we have on many metrics, we have gone from middle of the pack to some of the best paid in the state. That's not to say that we don't want to continue to do more. Over the past 4 years, we've hired over 300 additional teachers and support personnel through our budgeting process, and we announced a significant mid-year increase for our educators and support professionals. We know that we are still 4,000 students below the pandemic levels, but we believe that we should continue to sustain those investments. What I have committed to do for at least the next 4 years is, at a minimum, do at least $10 million more than that required maintenance of effort level every year for the next 4 years. In addition to our people, we also have committed significant historic dollars to school construction. Over $3 billion is set over the next 14 years through the multi-year improvement plan for all schools, or my IPASS. What does that look like locally or across the county? Across the county, it means security enhancements, replacing doors. It means putting in security vestibules. It means security cameras and intercom updates. It means investing in STEAM technology, STEAM education, and career and tech, CTE education. It means that we're expanding pre-K for up to 8,000 new learners, young learners here in Baltimore County. Closer to home, it means that when this program is done, we should no longer have to have our educators, our support professionals teaching or working in trailers. It means that we are investing in every school across Baltimore County in a meaningful way. This year's budget means we're moving forward with a new Deer Park Elementary, a brand new Scotts Branch Elementary School, parking lot improvements at Woodmore, roof replacements across Baltimore County's District 4, playground renovations at Cedar Mill, Hebbville, and Randallstown Elementary School, and maintenance upgrades, again, at schools across District 4. Significant dollars coming through in capital to advance school construction. We recognize that education doesn't stop at pre-K through 12, so we also continue to support our community college system. For our entirety of our time in office together, the chairman and the council has supported our recommendations of freezing in-county tuition for county residents. We've also expanded our college promise program from approximately 100 students to over 900 students are now receiving that free tuition program here in Baltimore County. We heard you loud and clear at a prior town hall about bringing back bulk trash pickup. In our first year, Director Walker and her team at DPWT have picked up almost 2,000 tons of trash from almost 70,000 homes across Baltimore County. If you haven't done your pickup, all you have to do is put out up to 3 pieces of trash on your 2 pickup dates every year, and DPWT's team will take it away and take care of that. We've also heard you on code enforcement. We've hired additional code enforcement officers. We're back to doing proactive code sweeps. We've instituted escalating penalties for repeat code offenders. And as a result, we are actually seeing complaints for code actually dropping across Baltimore County. So thank you for your suggestions there. More than $80 million of traffic calming efforts and repaving and resurfacing across Baltimore County. We know there are more roads that need to be done, but we are proud of the money we're putting forward. In addition, we have money for Rolling Road and getting the sidewalks done there and moving forward. Millions of dollars invested in sidewalks and pedestrian corridors across District 4 in Baltimore County. And we're stuck. We believe very strongly in supporting our seniors in Baltimore County. 25% of our population are of the senior population, so we have done everything from setting up No Senior Eats Alone Day to launching Age-Friendly Baltimore County. We have the Because program in partnership with the Weinberg Foundation, where we are going in to do housing renovations so that our seniors can age in place. We have millions and millions of dollars to improve seniors countywide, including a long overdue renovation and expansion at the Woodlawn Senior Center that we broke ground on this year. Other significant District 4 investments from Owings Mills to Upperco. We are working together on water infrastructure projects. We are rehabilitating the Old Court Road Bridge. We are doing replacement bridges at Piney Grove and Dogwood Roads, renovations here and at our library, and then mechanical upgrades for both Randallstown and Woodlawn fire departments. We also announced, I think this was something we heard overwhelmingly. We were proud to announce we are bringing back grocers to the corridor. So we have 2 new grocery stores either in. We opened one, Global Foods, and then we have another one, grocery outlet, that is coming to this district. We're going to keep working with you on that. We also heard you loud and clear about Security Square Mall, in need of more than a facelift. It's in need of an entire reimagination. So Baltimore County has stepped up in partnership with Speaker Adrian Jones and our state delegation. We had $10 million from the state, $10 million locally, where we acquired the old Sears building. We have engaged in a very public charrette process. We went into in partnership with Pastor Karen and Set the Captives Free. We have a massive state-of-the-art health center now at the OWE Center. We are planting our flag at security to say the county is going to be here, and we want to make sure that we're making the investments to make sure that the reimagination and the revitalization of Security Square Mall is a real thing. So thanks to the speaker, as well as her teammates, Delegates Phillips and White, Senator Brooks, and the councilman for their support of putting these resources forward to make it happen. On the public safety front, I want to thank the men and women of our police department who are here or were here. The work that they've done, especially in a climate where we've seen increased crime trends that hasn't materialized in Baltimore County. We've actually seen declines, particularly in our homicide rate, almost a 40% reduction last year. Here in Baltimore County, we continue to invest in public safety, an increase of almost $30 million these past 2 years. In addition to our reductions in our homicide rate and some other violent crimes, we are seeing that our clearance rate of crimes is significantly above the national average. We know, though, that investing in public safety is just one part of the equation. We have to invest in the other elements of public safety. And that means that we're investing in things like our behavioral health responder, why am I blanking on it here? Our mobile crisis team, thank you, Sean. We've expanded our mobile crisis team by 50%. We have instituted a clinician in the 911 call center to better divert calls for those experiencing mental health challenges. And we are also investing significantly in the upstream opportunities that help prevent crime in the first place. We're investing more in youth summer employment. We're investing in recreation and parks. Really creating those opportunities. We're investing in education so that we are helping to fight crime by upstream investments as well. This year's budget has over $45 million of capital investments for recreation and parks. Director Smith welcomed us to one of the gems of Baltimore County here, but if you haven't checked out the new destination playground at Northwest Park, you got to see it. It's Baltimore County's first destination playground. It's a Ravens-themed experience, and it's wonderful. We have a new Woodley Avenue Park. We have improvements. Improvements are coming to Diamond Ridge Family Park. Other improvements in Northwest Regional, like the Pavilion and Rockdale Parks. And we have $10 million set aside for a new center at a community-oriented site to look at things like science, technology, engineering, and math. I mentioned the Forestry Division to support Operation Retree, which goes in to our urban neighborhoods and expands our tree canopy. We also brought back glass recycling, which was stopped back in 2013. We are capturing emissions from our landfill to convert to energy, and just recently we signed the Bring Your Own Bag legislation, which this was shocking to me. We have 1 million single-use plastic bags go into our trees, our sewers, and in our recycling facility every day. Every day. So that's over 300 million bags a year just in Baltimore County alone. It's a pretty staggering statistic. So that's where we've been together. Just want to talk briefly about where we're going, and then we're going to turn the floor over to all of you. First and foremost, housing. Creating pathways to attainable housing. And attainable housing for me means that it is both high quality, it's affordable, it has access to good schools, to job opportunities, to transportation. And we're doing that, and I want to thank Chairman Jones for his partnership and leadership on our foundational pieces of legislation in moving this ball forward, creating both a housing opportunities fund so that we can create more of these attainable housing units. We have now a definition of a vacant structure so that Director Gutwald and his team can go in and actually do something about those derelict properties and potentially create additional pathways to home ownership. We updated our townhome construction policies, and we passed legislation that allows more family members to live together and to age in place. Number two, we're focused on workforce, both investing in our people, but also creating new pathways. And we announced early in this new term a partnership with University of Maryland Medical System St. Joseph, where we are creating an opportunity for some of our most socially vulnerable residents to become, to go from basically having no credential to becoming a CNA, a certified nursing assistant, to an LPN, a licensed nursing professional. This is creating all the wraparound services for success. Not only are we finding individuals and paying for them to go to school, but we are also guaranteeing them a job, thinking about issues like transportation and childcare, and ensuring that they have that wraparound service and support to be successful. So they go from in distress to having family-sustaining opportunities. And this is the kind of program we hope to replicate in the term ahead. Last but not least, capital investment and infrastructure, delivering on the promise of the schools, the recreation centers, and the other investments that are needed throughout our community. And that's largely where you come in terms of telling us where we should be directing those dollars. So before we open the floor up and I bring Kirk back up, speaking of infrastructure, we are on the cusp of having a task force to look at our region's wastewater system, our water and wastewater. It's a system that is older than both the mayor of Baltimore and myself. Baltimore County does not have any control or oversight, even though we are responsible for funding half of that system. And so we're hopeful that this task force, once passed, this General Assembly session, will provide insight as to operations and capital investments and billing to make sure we have a world-class system. So Kirk and team are passing out QR codes, so if you have a smartphone, you can start scanning that. The budget process, before you go to live poll, is this is the last of our town hall series. Save the best for last, Chairman Jones. Don't tell your colleagues I said that. I'll submit my budget to the county council on April 13th, and then by the end of May, the council has to adopt the budget. They'll have all of the departments come in, do briefings and hearings, and then vote on the proposals. Before we open up the floor and bring Kirk up, if you have your QR code, if you want to scan that on your smartphone, we have just like 4 questions we like to ask of the audience to get a glimpse and some insight whether or not you testify. So if you have a chance, just click on this and scan it and pull it up, or if you have, once you scan, you can also pass the paper to someone else. So once you have scanned that piece of paper, the first question is pretty straightforward. We're just curious how many town halls you've been to. Is this your first, your third, or your fifth? Now, if you've been to 5 town halls this year, that still counts as one. We're just, how many years have you been to a town hall series? So a lot of first-timers. Let's give a round of applause for everybody coming out for their first time. And so, yeah, if you were done with your paper and you want to just pass it back, I don't know how many pieces we had tonight, Kirk. Not that many. So if you can share with your neighbors and make sure that we pass them around. Okay, and thank you to those who have been here for all 5 years. As we're continuing to scan, we'll go on to the next question. This is always a fun question. When it comes to investing in the core needs of the county, I would say Baltimore County is investing too little, just about the right amount, or too much. And again, these are anonymous, so we don't know who's answering which way. We'll give this just like 5 more seconds. If folks are able to scan in. Okay, let's go to the next question. My top 3 budget priorities are housing, public safety, pedestrian safety, road resurfacing, green space, and ag preservation, rec facilities, or school capital and school operating. I think you can actually vote for up to 3 on this one, so the percentages won't add up perfectly. Looks like school budget is pretty strong, with public safety not too far behind, and then a sort of a mix of about a third of the other ones, so that's helpful. All right, next question. Have you used 311? Just pretty straightforward, yes or no. I've called 311 or I have not. So as you're answering this question, I would encourage you, if you ever have a need in the community, now that you know that as a resource available, consider using it. In addition to 311, we also have BaltCo Go, which is, since we're using our smartphones, you can download it in the App Store, and it's a Baltimore County specific app where you can also register community concerns to be addressed. BaltCo Go app or 311. Looks like about a third of you have used 311. Okay. That was it. All right, so thank you for your indulgence on this. I'm going to turn things over to Kirk for some instructions. What I will just say is, again, we want to try to get as many voices heard tonight as humanly possible, so we'll try to get through it. Thanks, everybody.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Mandy Remmel, the Director for the County Executive's Office of Community Engagement. It's great to see everyone here tonight, and we are excited for this part of our program where we get to hear your budget testimony. So there will be 2 microphones in front of the auditorium here, 1 on each side. I know it's quarters, but we're going to pull the microphones a little bit forward so that way our speaker can kind of spotlight. We will allow for 2 minutes. We ask that you keep your budget testimony within those 2 minutes, so it can be shorter. We have a lot of individuals to hear from this evening. We're really excited about that. We do ask that if you are here with a large group tonight, that you have 1 spokesperson from that group share your budget-related priority. We would love for, if you are with a group, to stand when your representative starts to speak and share that priority. So again, you can stand and we can get a nice head count of all the individuals that are here and really supporting that priority. As the councilman and chairman said, and the county executive, we do have to be out of this room by 9 o'clock this evening. So if we cannot get to your testimony tonight, we will cut the lines around 8:30. So if we cannot get to your testimony this evening, we absolutely would love to have you send your testimony into us by email. So it's just townhall@baltimorecountymd.gov. We will take that and make sure that that testimony gets to the councilman and our county executive. So without further ado, we will go ahead. You can start to line up. I know it's a long line already, so you can line up here. We'll go side to side with our testimony. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. And if you don't mind, as a point of privilege, I knew I was going to get in trouble when I start calling names, but I did not want to forget Chief Joanne Rung as our first female fire chief, as well as James, that's worth an applause. James Benjamin is our first African-American county attorney, male. We certainly appreciate them, all because of the county executive. And I also was remiss, and the county executive and I were, doing a little talking back and forth. I want to, on behalf of the county executive and myself, we thanked an awful lot of people for being here, but we also want to make sure we take the time to thank all of our incredible employees of Baltimore County that come to work each and every day, starting with our principals, our school teachers, right down to ASME, and of course, we would be remiss if we did not remember our volunteers. So we thank you so much for all you do to make Baltimore County great and serve the citizens. Thank you very much, and if I missed anybody, blame it on my head and not my heart. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Zamira Simpkins, and I'm here today on behalf of the Baltimore County Citizens Advisory Committee for Gifted and Talented Education and over 200 stakeholders who signed our petition asking to restore 3 resource teachers to the Office of Baltimore County Office of Advanced Academics in fiscal year 2024 operating budget. The Office of Advanced Academics serves gifted and twice exceptional students with developmental disabilities by training teachers and administrators on how to identify and educate the students as required by state and local laws, specifically COMAR Chapter 13A, .04.07, and BCPS Policy and Rule 6401. In the current operating budget, the Office of Advanced Academics has 4 resource teachers. Unfortunately, the Board of Education recently approved the superintendent's teacher cuts for 2024, which will leave only 1 resource teacher in the Office of Advanced Academics. It is completely unrealistic to think that 1 resource teacher will be able to train staff at 178 schools, serving over 111,000 students, which is required by law, by the way. All we ask is that as you review the proposed BCPS budget, please prioritize items that focus on education. If you approve the proposed resource teacher cuts to the Office of Advanced Academics, you will deprive 30,000 BCPS gifted and twice exceptional students of their rights to receive the educational programs and services needed to develop their full potential. We will have the petition to you electronically with all the signatures. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you. Just a public service announcement. For the time being, we've actually asked our department heads to move to the exterior of this room because your turnout has been so overwhelming that we are technically over fire code. So we will find a bigger space next year, A. And B, if you are able to either sort of move to the outside or the auditorium, we will continue conversations with you. If you absolutely need or want to stay for the town hall, we're not pushing anyone out, but if you are comfortable after you speak, for example, to allow for us to be closer to capacity, we would appreciate your consideration.
Good evening. Pejui, the president of the Linden Volunteer Fire Department. The 20 volunteer companies save Baltimore County over $60 million a year. Baltimore County Fire Department includes both career and volunteer members. It's one of the largest departments in our area, but it has a significantly lower operating budget. A third-party evaluation was completed by Facets and funded by the Baltimore County taxpayers. The report found many insufficiencies in the Baltimore County Fire Department. The report states the overall volunteer system needs significant support from Baltimore County. It's imperative that the volunteer companies receive an increase in funding to achieve our mission. Page 21 of the Facet study shows that Baltimore County is spending 30 cents for every dollar that Howard County spends protecting each person in the county. Further, page 43 of the FACET study identified that the quality of the volunteer fire company facilities as a factor in successful recruitment and retention of volunteers. Our particular station is so antiquated that men and women have to sleep in the same room next to each other while volunteering to protect the citizens of Baltimore County. Although the Glendon Volunteer Fire Department does our best to keep our station competitive, we are limited by the size of our 1956 building. This hurts our ability to recruit new members when there are state-of-the-art facilities nearby. I invite you to read the complete 60 pages of the FACET study. It's available online. I'm asking the county executive and county council to correct the significant deficiencies within Baltimore County Fire Department to protect the fire and EMS personnel and all the citizens we serve.
Buenas tardes, damas y caballeros.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Mi nombre es Carla Vigil
My name is Carla Vigil.
y agradezco la oportunidad de poder dirigirme a ustedes.
I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak with you.
También agradezco a la organización LEAF por alientarnos a abogar por nuestros hijos.
I also want to thank the Leaf Foundation for encouraging us to advocate for our children.
Quiero pedir al señor ejecutivo del condado que por favor amplíe el presupuesto a las escuelas del condado, específicamente las de educación especial.
I want to ask you, Mr. County Executive, to please fund the Baltimore County public school system, specifically public education for students with special needs, even more.
La ley federal IDEA asegura que todos los niños con discapacidades que se les haga disponible una educación pública, gratuita y apropiada.
The federal law, IDA, requires that any public school provide free public education for students with special needs.
Mi pregunta es, ¿no es suficiente 15, 20 minutos a la semana para estos niños? Necesitamos más fondos, por favor, para que estos niños puedan avanzar y desarrollar habilidades para socializar.
20 minutes of special education per week is not enough for these students so that they are able to shine, so that they are able to reach their total capacity.
Muchas gracias a todos.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Susan Bollinger, and I am a 40-year active member of the Baltimore County Volunteer System, and I am currently president of the Baltimore County Volunteer Firefighters Association. I'm here to thank you for your continued commitment to the BCVFA and to stress the growing need for increases in support in this post-pandemic world. First responders rose to the call during the pandemic. During that time, we saw a huge increase in EMS-related calls. As we start recovery from the pandemic, we aren't seeing any decrease in that volume, but we're seeing large increases in the costs to operate and serve our communities. Like everyone else, we are struggling to recruit and retain members in a post-pandemic world. Some of the unique factors that we face is that if we find a new member today, it takes a while to get them through the onboarding process. They have to complete an application, do a drug test, have background checks, physicals, etc. We need a central process to make this happen so that we can get members moved through quickly before they lose interest in the service. Once a member is accepted and gets onboarded, it takes them a long time to complete their training so that they can ride. With shortages in classes and differences in training resources between stations, this process can take a long time. Again, we lose members who have that desire to come in and ride the equipment. We need to get funding for the training academy as it's outlined in the facet study so that we can get more classes. We need to have the ability to move more classes online so that things that can be taught online can be done and we can get people trained quicker. We need to get the classes available in a quick order so somebody can start to finish within a short period of time. Our members spend hundreds of hours to take the classes necessary to ride. We need to get them these resources quickly, and most of our members go on to become career employees. So by helping the volunteers, you're helping the career service as well. So we need to work together to make that happen. Thank you.
Hello, I am Wilmer Manjavar, and I am in the 8th grade in Woodlawn Middle School. I strongly believe that the increasing availability of private clinics that are accessible to all individuals regardless of their documentation status or healthcare coverage is crucial. Undocumented individuals often face difficulties in obtaining healthcare due to their status, and it is essential to provide them with accessible and affordable healthcare options to ensure their well-being. Despite the fact that there are more than 10 million undocumented individuals working in the USA, they're often unable to access healthcare, even when they can afford it. The establishment of new private clinics can provide a much-needed solution to these problems, allowing these individuals to receive the medical attention they need regardless of healthcare coverage status. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Johnny O. Good evening, Councilman Jones. My name is Joan Bryan, and I'm a member of the Baltimore County Coalition of the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. Our goal is to find truth surrounding the lynchings in Maryland and to reconcile with the past. We are proposing a Truth and Reconciliation Park on Bosley Avenue in Towson, Maryland. The park will be a place where we all can meet to embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion. Why that location? In 1885, 15-year-old Howard Cooper, an African-American resident of Towson, was convicted of assault and rape by an all-white jury that deliberated for less than a minute. Before his attorneys could file an appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court, a mob of about 75 people stormed the old Towson jail on Bosley Avenue and lynched him. 2 years ago, our coalition, in collaboration with Baltimore County and the Equal Justice Initiative, organized the installation and dedication of a historical marker at that site. Dignitaries in attendance at the unveiling included former Governor Hogan and you, Johnny O. We appreciate the support you expressed that day and for the cooperation of your staff as plans for the park progress. We're at the stage now where we need funding. The coalition looks forward to continued collaboration with the county, with civic and faith organizations, community associations, and individual citizens to organize and support our fundraising efforts. We want the park to inspire learning and reflection and promote connections among all of us who work for truth and reconciliation in Baltimore County, the state of Maryland, and our nation. Thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es Christine Phillips. Soy maestra de español 2 y 3 en el condado de Baltimore. Hello, my name is Christine Phillips. I'm a Spanish 2 and 3 teacher in Baltimore County. No soy nativa de español. Aprendí en la escuela secundaria y continué mis estudios en la universidad y en el extranjero. I am not a native Spanish speaker. I learned in high school and continued my studies in college. Primero, gracias a los miembros de la comunidad, específicamente los hispanohablantes que están aquí representando los intereses de mis estudiantes inmigrantes. First, I would like to thank the community members, especially the Spanish speakers, who are here representing the interests of my immigrant students. Yo Yo estoy aquí para hablar del problema de retención de maestros en la escuela y la necesidad de aumentar nuestros sueldos. Tenemos que prevenir la salida de los maestros que están en las escuelas ahora y hacernos más competitivos con los otros condados para atraer maestros nuevos. I'm here to speak about the teacher retention issue in schools and the need to increase our salaries. We have to prevent the teachers who are already in school from leaving and become more competitive with other counties to attract new teachers. Tengo dos historias para contarles. Una es sobre mi amiga Megan, quien estudiaba en Argentina conmigo. Megan es una mujer blanca, no nativa de español como yo. I have two stories to tell you. One is about my friend Megan, who studied with me in Argentina. Megan is a white woman who is not a native Spanish speaker like me. Ahora ella es una maestra de inglés en España para una escuela primaria y su vida es muy diferente que la mía. Ella tiene balance entre trabajo y su vida personal. Now she is an English teacher at a Spanish primary school, and her life is very different from mine. Megan has work-life balance. En otro universo, ella pudiera ser una maestra de español en los Estados Unidos, pero simplemente en este país ser maestra no es una profesión atractiva. In another universe, she could have been a Spanish teacher in the United States, but teaching in this country is simply not an attractive profession. Otra amiga mía, Sofía, tiene 50 años y este es su primer año enseñando en el condado de Baltimore. Ella es uruguaya, habla español, inglés y portugués y fue traductora médica antes de ser maestra. Another friend of mine, Sofía, is 50 years old, and this is her first year teaching in Baltimore County. She is Uruguayan, speaks Spanish, English, and Portuguese, and she was a medical translator before becoming a teacher. Es un recurso único para sus estudiantes, pero ella no sabe si puede continuar en una profesión tan agotadora. Sophia is a unique resource for her students, but she doesn't know if she can continue in such an exhausting profession. Necesitamos personas como Megan, Sofía y yo en nuestras aulas. Las personas multilingües son recursos en las escuelas del condado de Baltimore, no solo para los estudiantes monolingües, sino también para los estudiantes multilingües desde la infancia. We need people like Megan, Sophia, and I in our classrooms. Multilingual people are resources in the schools of Baltimore County, not just for monolingual learners, but also for our students who have spoken multiple languages since birth. Pero podemos ganar más dinero en otras profesiones. Este presupuesto tiene que aumentar los sueldos de los maestros para atraer y retener educadores. But we can make more money in other professions. This budget must increase teacher salaries to attract and retain educators.
Good evening. My name is Charlie Hoppa. I'm the current president of Reisterstown Improvement Association, also doing business as Reisterstown Main Street. I want to thank you, County Exec Olszewski and Chairman Jones, for the county support of Reisterstown to date. We look forward to the continuing relationship that the executive, the council members, and your staff has helped us. We really appreciate it. Reisterstown Main Street promotes the future growth while preserving the town's rich history. We look to encourage families and businesses to engage our Main Street businesses and join the many events that we host. Some of the premier events are Blooming Art Fest, Beer and Wine Fest, Farmers Market, Music on Main Street that you joined us at many times, along with arts and crafts and during the holidays, walking our Franklin Wooden trails, or simply relaxing in our park behind our main visitor center. We're not only looking to continue existing activities, but we are actively planning for more artistic attractions to increase tourism to our town. In 2022, we added 2 large murals and 4 mosaic planters. This year, artistic bike racks, sculptures in our park. We did solar lighting actually this week, so we got that done. And more mosaics are currently in production for 2023. We are currently in the process of completing a neighborhood design center study to allow us to develop future design guidelines for our Main Street. We are working with And Access to do a retail study assisting us to fill vacancies with unique, interesting stores. With these studies in partnership with the county, we plan to implement these efforts, continuing the success of our Main Street program. While these studies are in process, we are continuing to seek funding and organization in partnership with the county to make immediate improvements. We are glad that the Department of Planning has asked for funds in addition to the regular budget to support our sidewalk brick replacement in the 200 and 300 block of Main Street. That's a big safety issue, and we really appreciate that, if it can be approved, and it can be done this year. The other thing is we're looking for parking and that kind of stuff. especially on Main Street. We have a property at 328. We're looking at maybe we could have the county work with us to actually do some things, but that would be really important. And we invite everybody out to our events too. Thank you.
Mi nombre es Ronnie Reyes. Bueno,
Good
mi
evening, my name is Robin Reyes.
comentario es que es muy importante de que
My comment is that it's very important to
se siga invirtiendo mucho en la salud porque es muy importante, mayormente para las personas que somos de pocos recursos. Y entonces
It is very important that we begin investing additional funds into healthcare, particularly for people that are low income like myself.
es un poco limitante para aquellas personas que padecen de alguna enfermedad y no se pueden acercar a algún hospital.
It is very difficult for people that have chronic diseases to seek treatment at hospitals
Por no tener la suficiente economía, en primer lugar. En segundo lugar, tal vez porque somos personas que no pertenecemos a este país.
It can be difficult because of our financial standing, but also because we're not citizens of this country.
Entonces sí creo que es muy importante que sí se pueda aplicar en estos programas que tienen ustedes para poderse acercar uno a algún hospital y poder recibir.
It would be very beneficial for our community if people could access healthcare at a health clinic from the county and receive medical treatment.
Que es una ayuda muy importante para todas las personas que entre veces padecemos de alguna enfermedad que puede ser diabetes o alguna otra enfermedad, ¿va? Y tal vez es cosa así que es de emergencia, alguna operación y tal vez uno no cuenta con ese dinero suficiente para poderse acercar a alguna clínica.
It's very important for people that may have a chronic disease like diabetes to be able to have that treated. It's also important for people that may have an emergency or condition that requires that they have specialized treatment or surgeries, that they be able to access health care.
Asimismo, también, pues tal vez tener un acceso a poder darle algún medicamento a las personas sin ningún costo.
It's also important to have affordable prescription medication for people that are not able to afford it.
Solamente gracias.
Thank you.
Hello, good evening. Hi, thank you all for coming. Hello. And thank you for having this and allowing us to share our opinions and give you our perspective. So my name is Makita Scott. I live in District 4, and I'm a resident of Baltimore County. And I'm coming to speak about a presentation that was made to the Board of Education on February 28th concerning athletic trainers at BCPS. We have 24 high schools, 14 schools have athletic trainers, 10 do not. An athletic trainer, for those who may not know, is a medical professional who at minimum has a bachelor's degree, now a master's from an accredited college or university, and has fulfilled the requirements for certification established by the National Athletic Trainers Association Board of Certification. This is an issue of equity to make sure that all of our students are receiving the same services. It was discussed, can even sometimes be a matter of life and death. The presentation was made to the proposed cost for the fund fiscal year 2024 of $3 million to hire 10 athletic trainers and assign each trainer to the remaining schools. So that's something that I would like you to consider for the safety of our children, the equity of our children, to ensure that we all have coverage. And I would also, I don't know if you know, Newtown boys are the state champions up the street. They're doing something good. I want to recognize them because if they were doing something they shouldn't be doing, everybody would be talking about it. So when they're doing something, let them know.
Muy buenas tardes a todos o muy buenas noches a todos. Gracias por escucharme. Quiero contar un poco de la necesidad que tengo. Mi nombre es María Brito.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to speak. I would like to share a little bit about why I'm here. My name is María Brito.
Quiero contar un poco la necesidad que estamos pasando aquí en el condado con el señor ejecutivo del condado que nos ayude con más presupuesto con clínicas.
The reason I'm here is I want to share our need in the community for accessible health care. Mr. County Executive, I want to ask that you include additional funds for health care to fund community clinics.
Y también nos ayude con más presupuesto para el transporte, porque yo soy la que uso más transporte. Yo he tenido accidentes por usar transporte para irme en la clínica.
I also want to advocate for additional funding for public transportation. I'm someone that depends on public transportation, and I have had accidents while using public transportation.
Por usar el transporte para ir en clínica, tuve un accidente y hasta incluso perdí mi trabajo, entonces que nos ayude más con más económico pues para nosotros las mujeres latinas.
While on my way to work, I was in a bus and I slipped and had an accident, and this caused me to not only be injured but also lose my job. So I want to ask you to please consider additional funding for public transportation, so not only is it more accessible, it's more affordable for people like myself.
Muchas gracias por escucharme. Yo veo que soy la única indígena que está en medio de ustedes. Muchísimas gracias. Estoy muy agradecido por escucharme. Muchas gracias.
I want to thank you for listening to me, and I recognize that tonight I am the only Indigenous woman here present in this room, and I'm very proud of that.
Good evening, County Executive Olszewski and Chairman Jones. My name is Sabrina Jones, and I proudly serve on the Baltimore County Commission for Women. This evening, I would like to speak to you about family trauma. In 2021, our county experienced over 3,000 domestic violence calls for help, 3,000 incidents of child abuse, 1,000 of sexual assaults, 10 domestic violence homicides, and unfortunately are ranked second in the state for reported child sex trafficking. The county response to families experiencing trauma may include medical exams, police reports, legal representation, counseling, and shelter, all siloed services throughout the county. Sadly enough, these programs, because they're not centrally located, provide and exacerbate the family trauma even more. The Baltimore County Commission for Women is asking that the county leadership bring together all affected parties to reimagine a service delivery system for victims of trauma that is a roadmap to resiliency and restorative justice. These families need to be restored to integrity and not have to deal with going to various places just to begin to heal their families. So we humbly ask that you consider this request and move forward into creating a more centralized location for these vulnerable people to receive service. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Evan. I go to the school of Pamela Lane Elementary School, and I'm 7 years old. I want to say to fix a hole in the road where you drop off the kids. And one of them they might be my friends, and that hole has water in there, and one of the people might run into it, and they might had a small bumper, so they might run into it and damage the car or damage and hurt their kids and the parents. and I don't want that to happen because that might be my friends, and I have a bunch of friends, and I don't want that to happen, so I wanted that hole to be fixed and to be like covered up so it never happens again. And so they don't get injured or hurt, and they don't have a hurt leg or hurt arm. Thank you.
Would you mind coming up? Would you mind coming up with me and Councilman Jones? First of all, I want to give you a high five. Let's give it up. Come on over here with me 1 second. So we're gonna ask for Director Walker. It sounds like needs to get up here. DeAndrea or Tony Russell. Can we? We're gonna get somebody to take care of this. You're 7? My daughter is 7. Where do you go to school? Feather bed? All right. Awesome. Are they coming? Director Walker, we've got a really important constituent who needs a pothole fixed stat, so if you could escort him over and...
Nice to meet you. I heard you were talking about potholes. I'm the person to talk to.
Can she go over there with you? You guys have a conversation?
Come on.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Good job, Evan.
Okay, I'm saying this is not fair. How am I supposed to follow that? Good evening. I'm Renee Hamidi, representing Valley's Planning Council. I want to thank you for demonstrating your commitment to land preservation by committing benefits like open space for roads, climate change mitigation, and for all those of us who like to eat, access to fresh local food. The county has preserved more than 70,000 acres already. To reach its goal of 80,000 acres, more funds will be needed, not just for the purchase of conservation easements, but also to educate farmers and other landowners about preservation programs. We spend a fraction of what other counties do on preservation, and I hope you'll continue to increase funding for land preservation. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. I hope all of you are having a lovely night. My name is Judy Guardado, a 17-year-old in District 10 of Franklin High School in Razorstown. I'd like to comment and bring awareness to a very important area of our county, the public school system and the lack of representation of our students in the public school staff. 13% of the students in the Baltimore County public school systems are Hispanics. We are just under Black students, 40%, and white students, 35%. And what does that tell you? Let me interpret the statistics. We are one of the biggest racial groups in the BCPS system, yet we are still the least represented in the school system. I'm an 11th grader who has spent most of her education in Baltimore public schools, and I am outraged at the lack of representation I have in my school. I have to stand up for myself. I have to stand up for myself since I was 12 years old without being able to even speak English properly. But hey, I'm only one student, right? Let me tell you, my story is similar to the ones of over 1,000 students throughout the county. We need more Latin representation in our public school system. Mr. County Executive, I urge you to put aside all the stereotypes that have been put in our Latino students and give us more economic resources to hire more Hispanic teachers and staff, so that way we are able to feel represented. We don't want to fear our instructors. We want to feel comfortable with them. We need higher expectations than we achieve. What's good for a student to study so hard till the 4th or 5th grade with the hope of getting to a magnet school just so they can be told that there's no place for them and be sent to a mediocre school in their zone that's lacking the best services because there's no money there? I am here representing the Latino Education Advancement Fund, also known as LEAF, and the work that her wonderful founder, Ms. Dinora Olmos, is doing to help students like me and like your kids to thrive. Where are the funds for organizations like LEAF? Why aren't more parents, students, and teachers being benefited from programs like LEAF? I can answer that for you. Because it's not in the school's interest to have organizations like LEAF there, because with them, parents are able to learn and advocate for their own children. We are learning from LEAF what our schools are not teaching us. Do not take away the American dream of my generation and future generations to come. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good evening, County Executive Olszewski and Chairman Jones. My name is Hillary Crystal, and I'm a volunteer with the Student Support Network at Owings Mills High School. As a volunteer, I am inside the school 2 to 3 days a week, sometimes more. One of the most immediate problems is the physical state of the school. At the top of the list is the auditorium. The stage lighting is completely not working. Additionally, the sound system is severely lacking. It is the original system from 1994. The following is a list of programs that we were not able to hold this year because of the auditorium. No fall play or spring musical. No winter and spring chorus. No dance, band, orchestra rehearsals and performances. No senior awards and student assemblies. No BCPS adjudication performances. And no access for our community. Unfortunately, the funds requested for these fixes were not approved from the state this year. So now it falls on Baltimore County and BCPS to make these infrastructure repairs. Another area of concern is the outdoor sports field. OMHS is the only high school on this side of town that does not have a turf field. This is inferior to all other neighboring schools and presents an increased risk of injuries to our players because of the uneven nature and state of the grass field. We understand that the county is allocating funds this year for turf fields, and we are very anxious to have Owings Mills to get the new field they need and deserve. Councilman Jones has requested this on our behalf, and we hope you can follow through and get the field done for us. Imagine if you were the parents of students at Owings Mills High School and you saw the physical condition of the school. Would it be acceptable to you? Don't we all expect our kids to attend a school in good working order? Don't we all want our kids to attend a school of which they can be proud? I invite you to come and visit OMHS and see for yourself. We have an upcoming spring resources and job fair on April 15th. I am disappointed, frustrated, and a little bit angry. These students deserve better, and we need to be sure that we do our best for them. We expect more on behalf of our students.
Buenas noches, yo soy Verónica Alejandra Alcides Gaitán. Le vengo a presentar mi caso.
Good evening, my name is Veronica Gaitan. I'm here to share my situation with you.
Yo me presenté al hospital con una alergia de los brazos y me hicieron unos exámenes y salí con un como tumor en el colon. Entonces me quedé ingresada el sábado.
I went to the hospital and I was told that I had an infection in my skin, but they also found a tumor in my colon.
¿Qué hospital? Oh, ¿qué hospital? ¿Pueden encontrar los papeles? ¿El nombre del hospital? Pues me presenté y me hicieron unos exámenes y me hicieron una cirugía el sábado. Me trataron muy bien, excelente, pero como soy de escasos recursos, me dieron una receta para comprarla, pero no tengo dinero por el motivo de que me quedé sin trabajo por ese motivo.
I was treated very well at the hospital and I had emergency surgery on Saturday. I was given a list of prescription medications that I needed to buy, but because I don't have a lot of money, it's beyond my capacity. I also, because of this illness, lost my job.
Y dentro de 15 días tengo que ir a ver mi diagnóstico porque no se sabe si es canceroso. Entonces yo quisiera que hubiera una institución para que le pudieran ayudar a uno con la medicina.
In 15 days, I will find out if the tumor is cancerous. And I'm here to ask that there be funding available for people like myself with scarce resources so that we can afford quality health care.
Y solo eso, muchas gracias, feliz noche.
That's all. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Ann Jones, and I'm here to speak briefly in favor of land preservation. I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak and your genuine efforts to reach out to the community. I'm just going to add a couple things to what was said before about land preservation. I point out how important agriculture is to the economy. I would point out that during the pandemic, people were looking for both fresh local food and a place to go. And finally, one of the reasons for coming here is because of its proximity to Patapsco Valley Park and to the Patapsco Valley. And it was over 100 years ago that the state began to make investments in that park. And I think today we'd all say it's a jewel that all enjoy. And a small investment today can pay off over time to all the residents of the county. So we urge you to consider putting 1% of the capital budget into land preservation. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Madeline Velasquez, and I came here to ask if you can help with some police's actions from racism and from their races, because my uncle, he got stopped for his race, which he didn't do nothing wrong, just because he was Hispanic. And I would just wanted to ask if you can help from that, of some police's actions, and help other people that get stopped for no reason, just because of their skin color or their race, because you don't know if other people get stopped for no reason or get deported somewhere back to their country. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Savitra here tonight? Savitra. So I'm going to connect you with Savitra Peoples-Brown, who is leading up our equitable policing work group. And we have that work group actually looking at that very specific issue. And so we're going to make you get plugged into that work so that you can both tell your story, but also can work with us. So Verinda will connect you with Savitra back there, and we're happy to plug you in. Thank you for sharing.
Good evening, County Secretary and Councilman Jones Jr. My name is Viviana Lozano from the organization CASA. As you have heard from the stories tonight from various community members, Baltimore County residents are suffering. Baltimore County is suffering a lack of access to health care that is affecting his residents' health and livelihood. For uninsured and underinsured people in Baltimore County, there are few places to get care. Or those that offer care, even fewer offer care to people who are not yet permanent residents or citizens. As a result, many people travel outside the county for care to go without health care altogether. We need Baltimore County legislation and budgeting that will establish a primary and prevention health care program for community members, regardless of the immigration status, that ensure access to locally oriented health centers, programs, and services. For example, in Baltimore City, John Hopkins has a program called TAP, the Access Partnership, that serves community members who are not eligible for Affordable Care Act. Over the last few months, as we have raised concerns with the county, you have asked us to tell you statistics and numbers around lacking health care access. This is information that you should know as a county government. In order to get this information correctly, we need to form a task force to do analysis of the holes in healthcare access for Baltimore County residents, regardless of the status. This task force needs to convene quickly and frequently to be able to put up position statements without 6 months about the gaps in service. Residents have waited too long for this. We need the task force and a budget to allow us for his convening and resources in this budget now. CASA is happy to chair the task force along the relevant county agencies, and we know partner organizations that stand ready to join the task force as well. We look forward for working together to address this concern. Thank you.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Guadalupe Montes y agradezco la oportunidad de poder dirigirme a usted.
Good evening, my name is Guadalupe Montes. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you tonight.
También agradezco a la organización LEAP por alientarnos a abogar por nuestros hijos.
I also want to thank the Leap Foundation for advising us and encouraging us to advocate for our children.
Estoy aquí porque soy madre de 2 estudiantes que van a las escuelas del condado.
I'm here as a mother of 2 children that are in Baltimore County Public Schools.
Yo quiero pedir que por favor, señor ejecutivo del condado, tenga en consideración ampliar el presupuesto a las escuelas del condado para que puedan construir más salones, sobre todo en las escuelas magnet.
Mr. County Executive, I'm here to advocate that you consider adding additional funds so that BCPS is able to build additional classrooms, particularly in magnet schools.
Nuestros hijos latinos son el futuro de esta hermosa nación y todos necesitamos que vayan a mejores escuelas, a escuelas especializadas donde puedan expandir sus horizontes.
Latino youth are the future of this beautiful country, and we need better and additional schools so that they can reach their full potential.
Donde puedan ser retados académicamente y puedan ir a una buena universidad.
Where they can be challenged academically and go to a good university.
Pero ¿qué pasa? No hay salones suficientes, hay un cupo limitado para esos estudiantes avanzados que quieren esas oportunidades porque están en lista de espera.
But what happens? There's not enough classrooms, there's not enough room for students that want to pursue better education. There's not enough space, there's not enough teacher capacity, there is a wait list to get into advanced programs.
Mi hija está en lista de espera porque no hay cupo, porque no hay lugares. Recuerde que líderes efectivos apoyan el aprendizaje y la óptima enseñanza en todos sus niveles.
My daughter is on such a wait list because there's not enough room, because there's not enough places to house these kinds of programs. Please remember that an effective public leader supports and contributes to public education, knowing that public education will help people achieve their best potential.
Le pido que aumente los fondos a las escuelas del condado para que nuestros jóvenes puedan tener equidad en sus estudios.
Please fund BCPS better so that our children can have equity in all of their studies.
Por sus atenciones, gracias.
Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Councilman Jones, for hosting this meeting, and thank you to the county executive for being here tonight. My name is Brad Rill. My family and I are 4th-generation farmers in Baltimore and Carroll counties. We are very invested in promoting and protecting agriculture in Baltimore County. We were involved with the Baltimore County Ag Center and the MARC program when promoting ag education down there when that was working. I would like to thank the Councilman Jones for his leadership. He recently worked very closely with our community on legislation which will allow the opportunity for qualifying properties to provide ag education programs along with ways to financially support it, which will benefit our community and introduce young children to agriculture. Last year in October, in our first year, we had over 3,100 school-age children visit our farm, learning where their food comes from and the sustainable practices that are used right here in Baltimore County to grow it. Councilman Jones brought members of our community together to discuss concerns and come up with reasonable restrictions for this use and activities. We are very grateful to the councilman and the county executive for all of the time and hard work that you all put in for our communities, and we encourage Baltimore County to continue to invest in agriculture and preservation. Thank you.
Buenas noches a cada una de las personas que se encuentran presentes. Mi nombre es Karim Noriega.
Good evening to everyone here present. My name is Karim Noriega.
Es un gusto saludarlo, señor Ejecutivo. Agradezco a la organización LIV por brindarnos las herramientas en la búsqueda de un mejor futuro para nuestros hijos.
I want to publicly thank the Leaf Foundation for giving us the resources so that we can find a better future for our children.
Tengo dos hijos estudiando en escuelas del condado. Uno de ellos cursa el 8º grado.
I have two children in Baltimore County Public Schools, one in the 8th grade.
Él ha permanecido por 3 años en el programa Magnet, mismo que le ha permitido tener una perspectiva y oportunidad amplia durante su desarrollo como estudiante.
He has been fortunate to participate in a Magnet program, which has allowed him to grow and gain additional knowledge.
El año pasado aplicó para estar en una escuela Magnet High School. Escogió 2 escuelas diferentes.
Last year, he applied to attend a Magnet High School. He chose 2 different schools.
Sin embargo, estas escuelas tienen un espacio limitado. Actualmente él se encuentra en lista de espera y esto se da porque ellos ubican a los aplicantes por medio de una lotería.
He applied to the Magnet schools, and unfortunately, he's been put on a wait list because there's not enough space for students like them. Currently, students are allowed into schools based on the lottery system.
Misma que no le permitió a mi hijo Jeremy obtener un lugar en la primera oportunidad de dicha lotería. Él cuenta con un porcentaje aceptable en los resultados de las evaluaciones que le realizaron, pero aún así tiene que esperar.
This same lottery is not permitting my son Jeremy to obtain a place in this school. He has a high GPA and testing scores that are acceptable to enter one of these programs, but still he has to wait.
Como madre me preocupa esta situación porque aunque él ha estudiado, ha permanecido en el programa y ha dado todo lo mejor por mantenerse en ese lugar, no hay un espacio seguro para que él entre a estudiar el próximo año a una escuela Magnet.
As a mother, this concerns me gravely. Even though he has worked hard, studied, and given his all, he still does not have a safe place to call home in his school next year. As a mother, this worries me.
Estoy consciente que por nuestra dirección hay una escuela donde él puede asistir, pero es una escuela que no le brinda la preparación y el reto como una Magnet. Considere, por favor, ampliar el presupuesto para estas escuelas.
I am aware that near our house there is a high school. However, this high school does not offer the same programs that the Magnet schools that he applied to offer. Please consider funding Magnet schools additionally.
Creo que así como nosotros venimos a exponer el caso de nuestros hijos, hay muchísimos más jóvenes esperando obtener un lugar. Ellos son el futuro de esta nación y el orgullo de sus familias. Por favor, tomen en cuenta nuestra petición.
Gracias. I know that like my children, there are many others, and that there are many other families that would like to find a safe and good school for their children. I ask you humbly to please consider funding Magnet schools additionally so that children can have a good place to go to school. Thank you.
Good evening, County Executive. My name is Cindy Colade, and I am the Health and Social Service Manager for CASA Baltimore and Central Maryland region. CASA is the largest member-led organization in the Mid-Atlantic, advocating, organizing, and providing direct services for immigrants and working-class families with over 9,600 all-time members who reside here in Baltimore County. Through our services, we have witnessed firsthand the struggle the lack of health access has caused our members and community at large, which only heightened during the pandemic. We expanded our health, social, and social service programming into our Baltimore region in the midst of the pandemic, vaccinating thousands of immigrants and working families out of the regional center in Baltimore alone, with over 4,000 community members vaccinated coming from Baltimore County. We pair our vaccination site with health triage and referrals given the urgency of healthcare support needs, and continuously has to refer residents out of Baltimore County to receive health services elsewhere due to the lack of accessible resources in the county. There are simply not as many places that serve immigrants, uninsured or underinsured working class family, in addition to being affordable or accessible. To no surprise, our Baltimore County members choose healthcare as their number one action campaign issue. Over the last few months, we have raised concern in the county around this matter, and we are asking the county to work urgently and begin a process to bring solution and more resources for our family. As a county government, we ask you to lead the way on conducting a study to find a statistic on residents of your county lacking healthcare coverage and their experience accessing affordable means here within the county. We advise the county to allocate funding to bring together a healthcare task force specifically designed to do this study and begin to propose timely and urgent solution for Baltimore County immigrants, working class family. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, I would like to read the following statement from your website, Johnny O. Baltimore County's government is like its people share a common vision for a bright future, not merely over the next 5 or 10 years, but for the generations to come. I'm asking you to make haste slowly. My name is Capathia Campbell. I'm a proud owner and an educator in District 4. I was recently elected as a TABCO member, but that's enough about me. I'm here to talk about the unheard voices, the young educators. I'm at a school where teachers are leaving. I saw a teacher this morning and she was happy. I'm like, hey, what's going on? She's like, I just signed a contract. I'm leaving. Where are you going? I'm not going to tell you, but I'm making $18,000 more. Your young, inspired educators are leaving. Your words. You said, our schools are the greatest tools that we have to unlock our students' potential. Please fund our school system. Your young educators are leaving. They're not hanging around like we did. They're leaving. Please, please fund. This is what's important, and it's a parent from one of my schools. Thank you for that playground at Hepville Elementary, but we need more than that. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. County Executive, Mr. County Council Chair. My name is Mitchell Posner. I'm the Executive Director of CAN, the Community Assistance Network. I'm here on the theme of increased wages, but for a slightly different set of essential workers. So I'm here to respectfully request that Baltimore County increase the fiscal year 24 budget to cover increased wages for the essential workers who operate the East Side Women's and Men's Family Shelter, the East Side Men's Shelter, and the West Side Men's Shelter. This request has been sent to Dr. Branch and his leadership team. As you know, the Community Assistance Network has operated these shelters under contract with Baltimore County for many years, and the term of the current contract is about to end on June 30th, 2023. Hence, this request is made on the behalf of whoever is the operator during the upcoming future fiscal years. Our staff and any other shelter staff are trained in several areas such as mental health first aid, Narcan administration, and de-escalation in order to provide a positive environment and be prepared to respond to the challenges that arise, such as overdoses and physical and verbal altercations. The resident advocates who serve as the frontline workers to our shelter guests often encounter individuals who suffer from mental health challenges, substance abuse disorders, and other behavioral challenges while enforcing the shelter resident guidebook and assisting in providing a safe, clean, and supportive environment. I'm proud of the work that the CAN staff has performed 24/7, 365 throughout the last few difficult years. Many of the CAN staff have lived experiences similar to our shelter guests and have proven to be reliable and skilled employees and empathetic mentors and advocates for our guests. CAN stands ready to answer questions, provide more details, and share the value of our experience operating the shelters, the East Side and West Side shelters, on behalf of Baltimore County for many years. On behalf of the CAN staff and shelter guests, thank you for your ongoing confidence and commitment to providing emergency shelter to the many of those who need it, and for considering this request. Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Brian Epps, and I'm the president of ASME, part of Baltimore County Public Schools. I'm here today representing the support staff of Baltimore County Public Schools. Most important, I'm here for 4 groups that does not make minimum wage, does not make $15 an hour. Their children makes more than them. My cafeteria workers who sees the children first to feed them before they go to school. My bus attendants who help get the children to school. The building service workers, the grounds workers, all of those people are underpaid, and we're asking for a fair, livable wage for everyone. Bring them up. $15 is not enough, but it is a great start. Please help us help them to make more than the students are making. Some of the students are making way more, where we're competing against McDonald's, which paying $17, Royal Farm. It is a shame that our workers in Baltimore County Public School makes under $15 an hour. Please help us to help them.
And Brian, thank you for your partnership. So 2 things, and this sort of speaks to the global conversations. We're going to increase our commitment above what's required again. And this is on top of some of the additional funding, just so that folks who aren't, I mean, I know the school system folks know this. The BCPS negotiates the contracts with TABCO, AFSCME, all the units. Baltimore County does not do that. What we have done with our units has allowed for no employee in Baltimore County government. I know sort of the school system is now making less than $15 an hour. We thought it was important to accelerate that in our negotiations. I have consistently and persistently said salary should be number 1, 2, and 3 in terms of our employees across the board. And it's also why I testified with Governor Moore this year. I was literally at his side in Annapolis saying, if it's not happening sort of through negotiation, like that's why I was such a big supporter of increasing the wage this year to $15, because one way or another, we believe that you all deserve that. So thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Olszewski and Mr. Jones. I am Janice Mason, and I represent the Woodmore Community Association. Please, members, stand. Thank you. We are very proud and very grateful for the attention and service that we at the Woodmore Community Association has received from Baltimore County, and especially Mr. Patoka. This evening, on behalf of the Woodmore Community Association, the task force, and the citizens of the Woodmore community, would like for you to address these issues. Number 1, our main concern is the bridge on Windsor Mill Road that crosses over 695. The Frederick Road Bridge has been repaired and remodeled and replaced. The Crosby Road Bridge has been remodeled and repaired and replaced, but not the Windsor Mill Road. And we have been asking for the county to please make this construction available to our community for many, many years. This area has been patched for potholes on numerous occasions, too many to count. In fact, our last report was the bridge is in fair condition as compared to the other bridges going over the 695. This is one sidewalk on the north side where crumbling concrete, which presents a safety hazard. It needs a sidewalk on each side. Citizens with medical-powered wheelchairs find it extremely difficult to utilize the overpass. There is a minimal lighting over the bridge. Small light poles can illuminate this area for night travelers. Resurfacing and widening Windsor Mill Road from Woodlawn Drive to Roland Road has been a stickler in our throats, and we have been asking for this resurfacing for many a year. Also, the Essex Road needs to be repaired and resurfaced from Windsor Mill Road all the way up to Campfield. We thank you very much for your attention again to our requests. And one more request, and Mr. Jones, we would like for you to please give us a new market where the old giant was. We need to eat. Thank you.
Well, let me just say two things real fast. Number one, working with the county executive, we've been able to secure grocery outlet for that location. So a new supermarket is certainly coming, and I'm here to tell you it would not have happened without the county executive's help. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, like I said plenty of times, that bridge is a state bridge. We continue to encourage the state to do what they can in terms of making repairs and beautification. But the other part is the Windsor Mill Road sidewalk project that started back when I took office in 2014, and it's been on the sort of like the slow road because of a lot of issues we had with money. But this county executive has put it in the fast lane, and we're making progress in terms of moving forward to get that project done. We're in a stage now, we've done engineering work, and now normally it's a 7-year project. We're in the stage of engineering work, and now we're actually buying the property for the easements so that we can widen that road. So we're well on the way. Thank you.
Good evening, County Executive Olszewski, and my chairman and my councilman, Julian Jones. It's good to be with you all tonight. I want to say really quick, I hope those grocery stores are unionized, but I had to say that. But good evening, my name is Courtney Jenkins. I'm president of the Metropolitan Baltimore Council, AFL-CIO, where we represent close to 80,000 union members from over 100 affiliated local unions, including the local I'm proud to be a member of, AFSCME Local 434. I'm also a proud constituent of District 4. I want to first say I do a budget for our organization. I want to say a budget isn't an organization or entity's priorities. You can tell a lot about a government or about an organization about where they place their budget priorities. And we must have a budget that works for working people like our education support staff, our teachers, and paraprofessionals. These dedicated workers create a learning atmosphere that helps BCPS fulfill its mission. And when the workforce is strong, the students thrive, and our communities become even more vibrant. Without the school bus driver picking me up and taking me to school, without the building operations and maintenance workers making sure I had a sturdy and clean learning environment, and without the food and nutrition workers making sure I had a hot meal to fuel my day as I made my way through Westtown, Arbutus, and then Catonsville, I would not be standing before you today as speaking as president of a labor council. When we leave here, many of the people in this room in the green and red that you see will have to prioritize over keeping the lights on and putting food on the table. So a living wage we don't think is too much to ask for. Our county government has the power to change that, and we commit to working together to make sure the voices of working families are heard and they're seen all throughout this county. Thank you.
Good evening, and before I ask my group to stand, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank you for the food boxes that you provided to our pantry. I'm Cynthia Taylor, and my church is Mount Olive, and without the food boxes, we could not have fed thousands of people during COVID, and that need continues, especially with the decrease in SNAP. And now my group. Yay! I also serve as a pickleball coordinator for my church and for the Randallstown Community Center, and as you know, pickleball is the fastest growing sport in the U.S. In 2019, we started a group at our church, got 30 players. We had one court inside and outside. We did 30 homeschoolers, all during COVID. We found that there are few places to play, especially that are free or low cost. In November, at the invitation of Zach Phelps, we moved to the Randallstown Community Center, and we've grown to over 100 registered pickleball players. We offer free lessons. We offer free lessons. We have 2 certified instructors. The court time is free. We have anywhere from 30 to 40 people every day. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we have 4 to 8 new members weekly. 3 of our players will be competing in the Senior Olympics this year. We provide equipment. The free program builds friendships and makes new connections. We found that the lighting isn't adequate and somewhat of a danger to our players, who are mostly seniors, and that is being addressed in May, and for that we are very thankful. We would like to see an expansion of pickleball. As you think about planning new centers and using unused warehouses, it's a growing sport. If you go anywhere in the country where there are old people, there's pickleball. And it's time for us to get on that bandwagon. Our seniors we have seniors over 90, we have seniors in their 80s, and I want to just point out Herb. Herb, wave your hand. Herb has had 3 granddaughters, a daughter and a son-in-law come and learn to play and play with us. And in September, we'll be having a free clinic for youth in middle and high school, and so we just want to say, go pickleball.
Car and counseling, and it's exhausting. I didn't get my nap in today. Normally I come home and I nap. And you could at least pay accordingly. My colleagues are veteran teachers with over 30 years, 40 years of experience teaching who've invested in me, and it's unfair to them that new teachers aren't paid enough. And yet, I make more than the support staff, custodial staff, who've been with school. I know members who've been with the school for 15 years, and I'm making more than them, which tells me a lot. This is based on a system of hierarchy and exploitation. It's actually my birthday today. Thank you. And I'm here because I want to have faith that we can change this. I want real leadership rather than having teachers leave and reduce the number of teaching positions. Why not move in the other direction? Imagine 2 teachers per classroom. Is that's something not happening, but it does happen in some school systems. A lot has changed since I graduated in 2008, but the school system and its pay really hasn't. I've known my whole life that teachers aren't paid enough. They're just people exploited for caring too much about the next generation. So we're looking for a substantial increase in the school budget that allows for a compressed pay scale that increases career earnings and decreases the time it takes for us to earn top pay. Thank you.
Thank you. I actually think you'll agree there's no such thing as caring about the future generations. But secondly, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya.
Happy birthday.
All right. Happy birthday. Thanks for coming out on your birthday. That really says a lot.
Good evening, Councilman Jones and County Executive Johnny Olszewski. My name is Danielle Winky Smith, and I am here on behalf of Blackwood for Positive Change, Baltimore County Chapter. Don't let the name fool you. We are a multicultural and multi-generational organization, and we also have men. I have a couple of asks, but right now my asking statement is, there is a blueprint that states that all schools will move to full day as opposed to half-day classes for pre-K, for kindergarten, pre-K classes. We know that there is not enough space in our current buildings, which means that which means that we don't have the capacity to address the issue right now. My ask is that we consider using private daycares that already exist, and that the state, which I believe has 80% and the county 20% of the budget to use for their portion to pay for private daycares to assist in providing this service. This can be the blueprint for the public-private partnership. This way, all of our children will receive an equitable and quality early childhood experience. This will also help the single parents and the families that have both parents working who need full daycare assistance. It's a win-win because the state now has a blueprint for Maryland's future legislation that passed, and one of the pillars of the legislation is funding day pre-K education. It will also be a great help to those of us who are already paying taxes. There's no better way to invest in the future of our children and the future leaders than knowing that our taxes are truly making a difference. Also, can you continue to support the Rolling Road Capital Project, Windsor Mill, the sidewalk and stormwater management and sidewalk enhancement? And then my last ask is that there are so many things going on in our schools with violence and everything else, especially it has exacerbated because of the COVID era. My organization believes in changing the culture of violence and unique opportunities and alternatives. And so one of the asks is that we partnership with organizations that are already in existence, that already have programs that you don't have to spend the extra money on because we already built this, and bring us into the schools to help assist the work with these young children, to include the Divine Nine, churches, 100 Coalition of Women, all of these different organizations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Barry Evans. I happen to be an elder of the village, and I'm here because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. The truth of the matter is that we have some issues in our community that need to be rectified, but they don't need to be sophisticated and or committeeized. What they need is for people to step up to the people do what they do in accordance to how their brains are wired. The children are involved in what they do because of how their brains are wired. In order to have change in behavior, you cannot extinguish a behavior. You cannot eradicate a behavior. You change a behavior. In order to change the behavior, it necessitates that you share information with people that they don't have. That's what we're not doing. I'm here to ask that with the money that you have for education, you set aside some of that money for a climate change initiative to assist people to understand what they don't know. Parents do what they do because they believe everything's okay. For example, with the you are 19, we are ranked 19 out of 25 districts in the state. There's too many good-looking people in Randallstown to be 19. The issue is it means that we have resources that are not being tapped into. The parents do what they do because they're not aware of what they're doing. If I was talking about carbon monoxide is colorless and odorless, but it will kill you. Low standardized test scores are colorless and odorless, but they will kill opportunity. But the parents don't know that. By helping parents to understand what's really at cost, I think you'll increase their likelihood to participate. I live near Deer Park Middle School and Deer Park Elementary School. That's 1,700 students with 21 volunteers. Tell me that's not disgusting. What I'm asking is that you engage in an initiative that will allow you to help the schools to get volunteers to come. Because with that, I just recently qualified to be a substitute teacher. I refuse to do a full day because I don't have the patience. How these teachers do this, I don't know. But when you go there and see the disregard for education, and the disregard happens because why? The average student is oblivious to why they're there. They go to school because they have to. They don't go to school because they want to. There are children who go to schools in third world countries who can do math and diagram a sentence in English better than our children. Why? Because they want to. What I'm advocating is that, and Julian knows this, through the use of public service announcements, we can begin the process of educating people in the behaviors that they need to engage in. For example, reduce crime in Baltimore. Reduce crime by helping as many children as possible to do their homework. That's simple.
County Executive Olszewski, Council Chair Jones, good evening. My name is Vicki Alman, and
every time they now I'm going to tell you that they have never had backlights behind their houses, never. And right now there's drug trafficking and all kinds of stuff going on back there because those people know there's no lights behind their building, behind their residences, no lights. So we asked how we could get lights,
And BGE said 75% of the people in that block have to sign a petition. Well, let me tell you, it's only 4 houses in that block where people have been there as long as I've been in my area, 5 years. And all the other people that are living there are new people. And they don't seem to care what's going on. And the houses behind, she's been robbed so many times, she never bothered to take the boards off the back of her house. And several people in that block, why the other ones haven't complained, I don't know. But several people in that block have been robbed, and they just decided to leave the boards up because they tired of putting them back up after every time they get robbed. So we have sent information to you, Johnny. Oh, we have sent information, and so have we to you, sir. So they just feel like nobody cares about them. So I better move on something else. We need to update our power grids. I was one of those people that live in Gwenmore. Every time the lights blow out, half the street has lights, the other half does not. So one year, it was 100 degrees for 8 days straight. And in those 8 days, my power did not come back on. And BGE tried everything they could, I guess, to get it back on. But even this year just passed, 4 or 5 times in the year, my power has gone off. And the power on my side of the street has gone off. But the people on the other side of the street, their power never goes off. Never has since I've been living there. 45 years. And I'm sick of the power going off. Then there's a pole in my backyard that BGE said they was going to replace it, but they never replaced it. They know that that pole is something to do with the wires, whatever. So when that pole gets shifty, then the power goes out on our side. And I'm a little tired of it, you know.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. My name is Karen Braithwaite Yarn. I live in Owings Mills, and I represent the wishes of Owings Mills Newtown. Come on now. We have a Giants that closed 3 years ago or more, and they held onto the property in such a way that they wouldn't let another supermarket move into that building because they didn't want the competition having moved to the next new development. Okay, so here we are without a supermarket, and now storage supply facilities are trying to buy that property and move in. So we took a vote. We talked to the 30 HOAs, polled the vendors in the shopping mall there. Nobody wants that storage facility, okay? We want a supermarket, please. Secondly, folks, we have a county council that consists of 7 people, and all of them are men, okay? So there's a campaign called Vote for More. And as you're traveling about during the summer in the county, you're going to see people with petitions, and they're going to ask you to sign them so that we can increase the diversity of our county council by adding 4 more seats to that county council. That'll make 11 people, and maybe we'll get some women folk on there and some other folk. Our county is very diversified. Thank you very much for your audience.
Good afternoon, good evening. Councilman Jones, County Executive Johnny Olszewski, I thank you for having this forum this evening. I initially came because of the Windsor Mill Safety Initiative, where my property sits on Windsor Mill at Royal Court. I had been working previously with Emmett Burns, Pastor Burns, who's now gone, and I know that this is a project that is very, very close to him. And I initially worked with him on the project because it was a safety initiative on Windsor Mill due to the fact that someone lost their life there. Now, my concern is that throughout Baltimore County, I've seen inequity in some of the landscaping as well as the sidewalks that are proposed for this particular property. And initially, we were told that the county would make us whole for anything that was done to our property. I have 8 feet of hedge surrounding my property that I've grown for 30 years. The county has come in and offered me a price that will never repair all the 30 years that this short lady cut those hedges to be a buffer as well as to give privacy for my home. So I'm asking that when I submit my letter of rejection, and that you would make me whole for the things that were initially told to me in regards to obtaining my property. And I do concur that with things that are to come, I would like to be able to also have some input as into the lighting that is going to go up on Windsor Mill that would give us that, the proper lighting, but would give us some aesthetic value. I thank you very much.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiange Waynes and I am a transplant here from Montgomery County. And my question to you all is, why is it that all the schools in Baltimore County are not magnet level? Why is it that our children have to apply through a lottery system to get a quality education that they deserve? I have a 7-year-old that wants to learn Japanese, but unfortunately he cannot in the public school system. So I have to come out of my pocket $250 to pay varsity tutors to get my son the education that he deserves to compete in this competitive market that we have. So his future really is depending on the quality of education that he's receiving from this county. I don't want to move back to Montgomery County. I love Baltimore County, but I feel like I have to because the education is lacking. I am also a tutor. I tutor K through 6-year-old, and there are a lot of children who, unfortunately because of COVID, are seriously, I have a 7-year-old that cannot read. She doesn't know the alphabet. When I ask her the alphabet, she has to think about it, take her time to think about what does Q look like. That is sad. Our children should not have to deal with this kind of things. We should not have to be competing with other counties. Baltimore County kids deserve better. Our kids deserve to have the education that anybody else in this county, in this country, is getting. Please make the effort to put that into the budget for next year, or even this year. We need more languages being offered to students, not just Spanish and French. Other counties are offering multiple languages. Our children deserve that. They shouldn't have to wait to apply through a lottery system that we all know is rigged because some people do get the hookup from friends that work in the board. So I'm frustrated, but I do love Baltimore County and I do want to stay here, and I believe that our kids do have the opportunity, and if the county does offer a better education system, please take it into consideration, and thank you for hearing me. Good night.
Just one minute. I'm not going to take long. I've come to 5 of these budget meetings, and I've asked for the same thing every time. I'm asking for rec centers for our kids. It's the one thing I always ask for. Thank you.
Well, I guess we've come to the end of this episode, but I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out, and thank you for your patience for being here, especially you, County Executive Jack.
Thanks, everybody.